C4 ProWear. Take it away, Roger.
Okay, could everybody hear me? Yes, you can hear me. So as she mentioned, at Salisbury by Honeywell, we're part of a large company named Honeywell. Innovators in electrical PPE. I'm the regional manager here in Eastern Canada. I'm going to talk today a little bit about Arc Flash and the Arc Flash clothing, innovations in Arc Flash clothing that's come about in the last 6 months or about last year. So some really nice things. You've seen first generation Arc Flash products, you've seen second generation, and now you're hearing about and seeing today some third generation products. To get this started, I want to talk about a few things about electrical safety. A lot of people think it's just Arc Flash, but really there's other hazards when it comes to electrical. You talk about shock. Arc Flash is the one we'll be talking about today, and there's Arc Blast. Arc Blast and Arc Flash are very similar. They're sort of brother and sister. You're looking at amount of amps. You're talking about the overcurrent protection devices, how long it takes to shut them off in order to determine how much heat will be generated. With shock, it's a little bit easier. When you're talking about shock protection, you really need to know how much voltage, how much pressure is available to the user. And there you're using rubber gloves and protection devices that are plastic and rubber. When it comes to Arc Flash, you're usually talking about thermal barriers, clothing and such. So what causes an arc flash? We should go through the path of least resistance. Most often, an arc flash instance occurs as a result of human intervention. In other words, accidental contact, tools are dropped on energized parts. It's almost part of the job. If you're working around energized equipment, there are times where accidents do happen, where these things do happen, and you have to have the right protection, the right PPE, the right personal protective equipment on your body. Some of the arc flash terms you've heard before: incident energy. It's the amount of energy impressed on a surface. It's basically the amount of heat. In this case, we're talking about calories per centimeter squared. Calorie is basically 1 gram of water going 1 degree up 1 degree Celsius, 1.2 calories. Doesn't sound like much. But you remember, if you ever see your calorie-rated clothing, you see sometimes you see 25 calories. You'll see things like 100 calories or 12 calories. Well, imagine at 1.2, you get a second-degree burn. So if you talked about only 4 calories, it'd be extremely hot. You probably could die. You potentially could die from a 4-calorie exposure without the right equipment on your body. So those are some of the terms that we run into quite a bit. We talk about arc-rated materials. These are materials that can ignite but will not continue to burn after the ignition source is removed. AR fabrics, you hear about FR. Well, AR and FR are pretty much the same, except that AR is a different test method altogether. We do the testing here at Kinetrix here in Toronto for AR products. And FR products in the University of Alberta, they do the FR NFPA 2112 for FR products. Some of the times, most of the time, it's the same type of product but a different test method. So the clothing it's made from flammable synthetic materials that melt at temperatures below 315 Celsius, acetate, acrylic, nylon, polyester, polyethylene, those type of things can't be worn on the outside of the body. They can't be worn underneath of Arc Flash clothing either. So we're talking about very, very special materials that we use to create Arc Flash clothing. The product standards that we're going to be addressing today, the products we'll be talking about, protective apparel, it's ASTM F1506. And when we talk about face protection, it's a special face protection standard for Arc Flash rated face shields. It's ASTM 2178. Okay, those are the things that it meets. As I mentioned, the validation and testing conducted at Kinetrix here in Toronto. If ever you needed a test report from our company, on the test report you'd find Kinetrix as the lab that was testing our products to those standards. So Arc Flash protection, getting beyond the basics, is what we're going to talk about today. We're going to step forward in comfort. You used to, I don't know if you remember the first generation products, a jacket of this would be about 25 ounces per square yard. And it was 18 ounces. This is below 11 ounces per square yard. So if you talked about a full uniform, which is a premium lightweight uniform, such as this and a bib overall, and then you have to wear a flash hood, you're talking about maybe 3 or 4 pounds difference on a person's body that they'd be wearing that. Jose, want to try that on? Have you ever worn Arc Flash clothing before?
Yeah, it's heavier than this.
Yeah, heavier than that? Tell me how that feels. Very light, right? You have a zipper and a Velcro on that as well. You see how light they are as well? And they're arc rated as well, okay? So super lightweight products now that were available. So the first generation was a very heavy coat, and now it's a very, very, very light coat. You have different features such as knit wrists. You might say, well, what's the advantage of having knit wrists on a jacket like that for arc flash? Well, a lot of times the people that are wearing arc flash clothing are also wearing rubber insulated gloves, okay, and they're wearing leather protectors for shock protection, but they can get them easier under their clothing. So ergonomic wise, the jackets and such, they can do that. I'm going to pull out one other sample. Excuse me just a second. I'm going to move around a little bit. I'll go into this bag right here. Some of the other features that you'll find in these arc flash clothing is they give you more room on the bottom of the pants. In the past, it used to be a straight pant cuff, where now you can have the adjustable size on the bottom, and you can adjust that. And again, because now people are wearing boots, heavy boots or big boots, and they're trying to get their arc flash clothing on and off very quickly, that's another adjustable feature. If you had the jacket, if you looked at the jacket a little closer, there's adjustable gussets to make it wider in the back. You can make it wider, and again, we're trying to add as much comfort as possible. Okay, so now we're offering 40 cal garments. They're 6.5 pounds versus 9 pounds. Significantly reduces the heat retention for the user. The thinner fabric allows for ease of movement. It's an inherently FR garment. That means if you wash it as many times as you want, but you'll never wash out the FR or the AR properties of the jacket. That's very, very important. So available premium lightweight hood is version and lift front hood as well, which I'm going to talk about next. So this is the lift front hood. Very, very big difference. What are you using right now? Anybody using arc flash clothing right now in their place of work? Sir, you said you were using it a 40 cal a long time ago. Anybody here use arc flash clothing at this time? Gentleman in the back? No? In the past, you used to have a flash hood. The first generation of this product was a very, very heavy flash hood under a hard hat with a face shield that was very, very dark. So it was very, very hard to look at the work you were doing and try to distinguish between the wire colors. The second generation product then brought along a hood with a ventilation system in it, which is great. And the face shields with the new technology were allowed to get a little bit more clear. In this day and age, even for a 40 calorie, now we're in a third generation type, so you don't have to wear a flash hood. This is a hood with a built-in face shield. So it allows the person to wear something that's a lot more comfortable, something they can see a lot better. So the visual light transmission on this, which makes the amount of light that gets to your user, is a lot clearer than it used to be. 10, 15 years ago, this would be very, very dark and very hard to see out of. Today, you can see out of these face shields a lot easier. So increased visibility, contoured lens allows for better peripheral vision. So if you see that clear lens that you see on the bottom here, that allows you to see a lot wider than you need to be. You no longer feel claustrophobic. There was a study in 2008, and they determined that arc flash hoods, they didn't have a fan and such, it created a lot of breathing problems for some people. There's a feeling of claustrophobia wearing a hood, a B hood like that, and the peripheral vision was very, very poor. So people actually created some other issues where people were running into walls, or they were making movements, and people were passing out sometimes if they're, the amount of heat that was available under there. Your carbon dioxide that dilates from your body created some issues for that. So you're talking about a clear chin. We had task lights that go on the side of these face shields that allowed you to light up the environment that you're working under. If you're in an environment where the lights are out and you need to have this kind of hood, it's pretty dark, there's actually some accessory lights, or 35 lumen lights that go on the accessories of this. If you want to drop by our booth later, it's booth 328 and come and see that. It's 35 lumens of light that lights up your work environment. Comfort, there's less fabric for a standard that makes the hood lighter, more comfortable. So natural head movement is allowed with this less fabric. It's a weight balanced face shield, which means that the weight balance is on the top of your head, whereas face shields in the past used to always move forward, and then you'd be unbalanced when you're walking. But now the face shield's on top of the hard hat, which is very, very nice. Ventilation, innovative design creates natural ventilation system beneath the bridge of the hard hat. There's no longer the CO2 and heat escape while allowing increased oxygen levels. That happens automatically. Internal testing has shown a regular hood and oxygen is dropped from 17.5 versus 19.5 in the lift front hood. So the accessories are the lights, and the part numbers are the LFH 40, which you see here, which is a standard 40 cal material. And on the mannequin, which I call Manny back here, he's fully equipped from head to toe. So he's got the 40 cal coat. He's got a 40 cal bib overall, PLT, and he's got the lift front hood with the new version of the hood. These components can all be sold separately or bought separately for the users. Most of the time they're bought in kits like this when it comes with a bag. So in the bag you'll have safety glasses. You may wonder why safety glasses in an arc flash kit, and I'll explain that. The standard for ASTM 2178 requires that you wear an arc flash rated face shield. But anytime you wear a face shield, whether you be in Canada or the US, there's a standard that requires that anytime you wear secondary protection, which is a face shield, you must wear primary protectors, which are safety eyewear. And that's in a different regulation than the arc flash, but anytime you wear a face shield, regardless of the reason, whether it be for welding, whether it be for grinding, whether it be for arc flash, you have to wear safety glasses. And Honeywell as a company is very afraid of liability, like any large company is. So we actually include in all our kits a pair of safety glasses. So you always get the safety glasses. So you get safety glasses, you'll get a hood, you'll get a coat and a pants in an arc flash kit, and you'll also get an extra bag to carry either the face shield or the hood itself to protect the face shield from being from damage. So you want to always keep that in the right place, in a good place. So at that point, and I did this a little quick, I wanted to see if there was any questions, and I want you to come visit us at booth 328. We can go in greater detail. Is there any questions about these products? Sounds like all of the audience that I have here are not people that wear arc flash clothing on a regular basis. That's all right. But this is the third generation of newer products that have been out in the marketplace. So we've come a long way with arc flash clothing, with electrical safety PPE. We're trying to make it more comfortable for the user to wear. Obviously, when they wear it, they're more comfortable. They're going to wear it at all times. Anytime you're exposed to energized electrical conductors, you always got to take consideration what shock protection you need, if you know voltage. And arc flashes, you have to determine how many calories of protection you need, that thermal barrier you'll need to protect yourself. Now, I know that in the past, people always suspected there was one or two of these incidents or accidents. We now know through history that 12 to 15 incidents or occurrences of arc flash happen every day in North America. And I say 12 or 15, these are ones that create injuries or worse, death from that type of accident. So it is a very, very serious incident and occurrence that happens. So if you have the right equipment, you will survive the event. If you don't have the right type of equipment, we know that most people unfortunately will burn, very seriously burn. Third-degree burns or go to hospitals and such. So this is something we're working very hard on. CSA Z462, anybody familiar with that standard? You are? Yes. Okay. I'm not going to bore the audience. Eugene, come over to the booth and we'll talk a little bit about that. But you're right. CSA Z462, or the first version of Z462 was in 2008. We had a different version come out in 2012. And in correspondence with NFPA 70E, and also in 2015, we're going to have a new version of that. That's for the commercial industrial customers. So anything but utilities, we'll use that document. It's a work document. And then you have product standard documents, right? Same thing with the utilities. You have ULC S801. Anybody wear ULC S801? Heard of that before? So in that document as well, we're talking about protecting yourself. Well, how you protect yourself then comes down to product standards. So the ULC S801 also will have a new version in 2015. So both those standards are going to be revised. There'll be some small changes to them. And what he's mentioning is there's two different methods of determining the rating you need for arc flash clothing. One is an engineered calculation. There's right here, like LTL, Lineman Testing Laboratories are here today, and they're right in front of us, the next booth right close to us. You can get an entire engineered service done, or you can use what we call task tables you find in the standards. And the task tables really indicate to you, here's the type of task you're doing, this is the type of amperage you're at, and this is the type of voltage you're at. Well, it'll tell you the hazardous category, for instance, 2. Hazardous category 2 is you have to wear at least 8 calories of protection throughout your whole body. If you're a category 4, which we're mentioning this type of clothing right here, it's a category 4, it's a minimum of 40 calories you have to wear on your body. So this is actually a 44 calorie suit, and it's a 42 calorie face shield, so it meets the minimum of 40 calories of protection. So yes, there's a lot of questions about that. I didn't try to go that. Obviously, this is a very small presentation, a 15-minute presentation. How to determine what arc flash rating you need is an entire subject in itself. What I wanted to bring to your attention today is the third generation new products that are out in the marketplace, which is the arc flash clothing and the lift front hoods. Very lightweight, very comfortable. If ever you need these type of products, we're a pretty good solution for you. Salisbury by Honeywell. I thank you for your time. Thank you.